Hello, welcome back for day 2 of matrix operations. We are going to be starting off where we left off, which was page 44 in your Springboard book, and you will want a pen or a pencil and a calculator. Today we are going to be multiplying matrices. Alrighty, so we did that last time, and here we are. All right, so it says here on page 44, that you can also find the product of two matrices A and B if the number of columns in A is equal to the number of rows in B. For example, dimensions of matrix A below are 3 by 2, and dimensions of matrix B are 2 by 1. The matrix product AB is defined because A has 2 columns and B has 2 rows. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit more about that. Again, so they said, okay, matrix A is a 3 by 2, and matrix B is a 2 by 1. So basically what has to happen here is that these inner numbers have to match. So 2 times, or the 2's have to be the same there in the center. And then your solution is going to be the outer ones, so a 3 by 1. Okay, so if these two numbers do not match, then you cannot multiply. Okay, so that's the big difference here, because when we were adding or subtracting, they had to be the exact same dimensions. But now when we're multiplying, it's just that those inner two numbers have to match. Okay, so that's what it kind of says here. It says the product of n times m matrix and an m times p matrix is an n times p matrix. So that's what I just showed you guys there. The product would be that 3 by 1. So again, that's what it explains. Because A above is a 3 by 2 matrix and B is a 2 by 1, the product AB is a 3 by 1. Okay. To find the entry in row I and column J of the product AB, find the sum of the products of consecutive entries in row I of matrix A and column J of matrix B. To see what this means, take a look at the next example. Cool, so let's do just that. All right, so in example B here, you are finding the product of matrix A and matrix B, okay? So first thing, it says determine whether AB is defined. Well, A is a 2 by 3 and B is a 3 by 2. So yes, we know that these 3's match up. And then we also know that our solution or our answer or our product is going to be a 2 by 2 because those are the outer numbers. Okay. So how do we actually multiply this? Okay. And so now to find the entry in row 1, column 1, you need to take row 1 from matrix A and column 1 from matrix B and multiply those numbers together and add them. So that's what they did here. 1 times 2 plus 5 times 3 plus negative 4 times 0. And they got 17, and so they put that in that first spot. Okay. Then step 2. Now let's say we want to find row 1, column 2. So again, we're using row 1 in matrix A and column 2 in matrix B. So we do, 1 times 4 plus 5 times negative 1 plus negative 4 times negative 2. And that is how they get 7 and put that in the spot. Okay, step 4. Now we're looking for row 2, column 1. So row 2 in matrix A times column 1, excuse me, in matrix B. So we do 3 times 2 plus negative 2 times 3 plus 2 times 0. And you add those all up and you get 0 and put it in that second row, first column. And then obviously our last step here is to find the entry in row 2, column 2. So we are in row 2, column 2. Okay, so we are doing 3 times 4, -2 times -1, and 2, times -2. And then you add those all up and you get 10, and that goes in your row 2, column 2. And then you have your final answer, which is that 2 by 2 matrix with 17, 7, 0, and 10 as your entries. Okay, so it's a bit of a process, but notice that in each of these, in matrix A, we only looked at the rows, and in matrix B, we only looked at the columns because it's always rows by columns. Okay. All right, so let's try another one here. And we will try part A together. Okay. And so they're asking us to do C times D. Okay. And so first thing I want you guys to get in the habit of doing is realizing, okay, C is a 2 by 2. D is a 2 by 2. So first thing we need to check, do those inner numbers match up? Yes, they do. So then we know our solution or our product should also be, because we're using those outer numbers, it's going to be a 2 by 2. Okay, so I'm going to write that over here pretty big so that we have room. Okay, and let's go ahead and work through this step by step. Okay, so I know if I want to fill this spot here, that is your first row, first column. So I'm taking my first row, first column. Okay, and that's going to be 1 times 0 plus 4 times -4. Okay, and we'll go ahead and write our simplified version down here as well. So 1 times 0 is 0, plus 4 times -4 is a -16, right? So 0 plus -16 would be a -16 in that first spot. Okay. All right, I'm going to switch colors here so you guys can see. But now we're going to move to this spot. And so that is the first row. So I'm still using these numbers, but now we're in the second column, right? So I'm going to do 1 times 8 plus 4 times -5. So 1 times 8 is 8. 4 times -5 is a -20. Whoops. Sorry about that. So we have 8 plus -20, which is going to give us a -12. Oops. All right. Let's go ahead. I'll change colors again. Now we want this spot. So now we're in our second row. So we want to use these numbers here. And we're in our first column. So these numbers here. So -7 times 0 plus 6 times -4. So -7 times 0 is 0. 6 times -4 is -24. 0 plus -24 is -24. All right. And then last color, I'll change to purple here. So we are in the second row, second column. So I have -7 times 8 plus 6 times -5. So -7 times 8 plus 6 times -5, you should get a -86. And that's it. That is your final answer right here. All right. So now what I would like for you guys to do is try part B on your own. Please pause the video to make sure you have enough time here. Okay, but you guys are going to do part B, which is asking you to do C times E. All right, so C is a 2 by 2, and E is a 2 by 3. So look at that. The inside numbers match up, so you'd be able to do this one. And your final answer should be a 2 by 3. And it should have looked like this. So -8, 21, and -37 should have made up that first row. And then your second row should have been -80. Whoops. -11 and -47. Okay, so if not, go back and check your work and make sure you're taking it step by step like we were doing here. Okay. All right, and then the last one, we have E times D. So E we know is a 2 by 3, and D we know is a 2 by 2. So if you're trying to multiply E times D, do these match up? No, they do not. So in this case, we would say not defined. And you could describe that if you wanted to by saying dimensional error, because those middle numbers did not match up for us. Whoops. Okay, now, what if we wanted to flip that though? What if we wanted to do D times E? Well, D is a 2 by 2, and E is a 2 by 3. So if we flipped it, okay, yes, then that works. But E times D, which is what they were asking for, does not work. Okay? So just be careful with that. And that's pretty much it for the multiplying. Again, tomorrow in class for our Zoom, we will work on some calculator steps that might make this just a little bit easier for you guys. Okay? So have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.